Today in class we're going to be working on something new. We're going to be working on function tables. And a function is a rule, or sometimes using variables, which we're going to get to in class, that changes a number using either multiplication, division, subtraction, or addition. And we're going to be putting numbers into a function box, and each function box is going to have a rule that you have to follow. And this is the example of a function box here. We'll always have the rule here at the top. You'll have an input in your function box and an output. And we're going to take a look at input and output and rules. Alright, so here I have a function box, and I want you to notice I already have this one filled in. So let's imagine this equation, and here's my equation. Some number plus 5 is going to equal some number here. So this is going to be my input number that I'm going to put into this machine. My rule is I'm going to add 5 to each one of those numbers I put into this function machine. And then once I have this number and I add my rule to it, then this answer is going to be my output number. So I want you to look here. I've already filled this in. And all of these are my input numbers. And if I put 5 into this function machine, and then I use my rule, 5 plus 5, my output number is 10. 7 plus 5 is 12. 10 plus 5 is 15. 13 plus 5 is 18. 15 plus 5 is 20. 18 plus 5 is 23, and 23 plus 5 is 28. So all of your numbers here, you're adding 5 to these numbers, and here's your answer here. Alright? Alright, now I've changed my rule, and if you notice here, my rule is I'm multiplying each one of my input numbers times 3. To get my output number, right? So 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 3 is 9. 10 times 3 is 30. And 12 times 3 is 36. So for each of these numbers here in the input box, you're using the same rule for each one of these numbers, and you're multiplying each one of these by 3, and then you're coming up with your outcome. When you're multiplying numbers, when your rule is multiplying makes your output numbers larger than your input numbers. Alright, so I have a new rule here. And now we're going to use the rule division. We're going to use division divided by 4. So I'm going to take all of my input numbers, and I'm going to divide each one of those numbers by 4. Alright? So if I have 20, 20 divided by 4 equals 5. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. 4 divided by 4 equals 1. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So I want you to remember that all of your numbers in your input, here on this chart, we're dividing all of them by 4 to get my output. Now I want you to notice that dividing makes your output numbers smaller than your input numbers. Alright, a little something different. I want you to notice my rule. I'm adding 5, and I wanted to make it simple because I wanted you to watch. I have my input numbers here that I've already put. Now, I have 2 of them that are missing, but I've already filled in all of my output numbers, and we know that 5 plus 5 is 10. 7 plus 5 is 12. But I don't have my input number here. But my answer is 15. So I have to go backwards. I already know what my answer is, so I have to go backwards to figure out my end number. And when we go backwards, we use the opposite operation of what's in our rule. So the opposite operation of addition is subtraction. So when I go backwards, I have to do the opposite of my rule. So instead of adding 5, I'm subtracting 5. So 15 minus 5 equals 10. All right? We know that 13 plus 5 equals 18, but ooh, I'm missing a number here again. So I have to figure it out. How do I figure it out? I have to go backwards, and when I go backwards to try to figure this out, I have to do the opposite operation. And we know that the opposite operation of addition is subtraction. So I have to say 20 minus 5 equals 15. All right? All right, let's do that one more time. But notice now that I'm multiplying times 4. That's what my rule is. Some of my input numbers I already have listed. And I have their answer here. 3 times 4 is 12. 6 times 4 is 24. But, ooh, missing my input number. So like we just practiced, we have to go backwards. And when we go backwards, we have to do the opposite. Now I'm multiplying. The opposite operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going backwards. I have to do the opposite, and I have to divide now. So I have to ask myself, 28 divided by 4 is 7. All right? Now I have my input number here, so 2 times 4 is 8, but I'm missing another one. And going backwards, I have to do the opposite operation of multiplication, which is division. 16 divided by 4 equals 4. So when you're missing an input number, you need to do the opposite math operation that you have in your rule.